Who's actually going to get the most out of the Bull Outdoor Products 87001 Lonestar Select cart? Who might want to walk away? And does it really justify the price tag for the average weekend grill master? Those are the questions that keep me up when I'm scrolling through dozens of grill carts that promise the moon but often leave you with a piece of metal you can't fit in your backyard. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last few weeks looking at the kind of setups people actually build around their patios, the way they juggle space, fuel lines, and the occasional rogue wind gust that can turn a searing steak into a smoky mess. The Lonestar cart sits in that sweet spot where you want serious cooking power without the need to redesign your whole outdoor kitchen. First off, let's talk about the kind of buyer who will feel right at home with this cart. If you're someone who grills at least once a week, likes to experiment with different burners, say a low and slow smoke session followed by a quick sear, and you have a dedicated spot on your patio or deck that can accommodate a 60-inch wide unit, this is a solid fit. The 4 stainless steel bar burners deliver a total of 60,000 BTUs, which translates to real heat that can push a burger from raw to caramelized in minutes. That power level is especially useful when you're cooking for a crowd or trying to get a proper sear on a thick ribeye. The twin lighting system also means you can keep an eye on those high heat zones after sunset without having to fumble with a flashlight. Now, who should skip it? If you live in a tight urban balcony where a 50-pound cart is going to be more of a safety hazard than a convenience, or if you only fire up the grill for a quick hot dog once a month, you'll likely be paying for capability you'll never tap. The cart's stainless steel construction adds weight for durability, but that also means it isn't something you can easily roll into a storage shed and forget about. It also runs on propane, so if you're set up on natural gas or you don't want to handle tanks, the conversion cost can add up. Finally, if you're a beginner who's still learning the basics of temperature control, a 60,000 BTU platform can feel a bit overwhelming. You'll have more power than you know how to use, and that can lead to burnt food before you even get the hang of it. One of the biggest practical strengths I noticed is the piezo igniters on every valve. In real-world terms, that means you can light each burner independently without reaching for a match or a separate ignition wand. I tried lighting the left side, the right side, then just one burner for a low-temperature smoking session. Each click was crisp, no sparking delays, and the burners lit instantly. That kind of reliability is a time saver when you're juggling multiple cooking zones and trying to keep the kids entertained in the backyard. The solid stainless steel grates also hold up under heavy use. A friend of mine who runs a small pop-up burger stand used the cart for a weekend fundraiser and swore by the fact that the grates didn't warp after cooking dozens of patties back-to-back. The stainless surface resisted the usual stick-and-food residue, making cleanup a simple brush-off and a quick rinse. For anyone who values a clean surface after a day of grilling, that's a noticeable win. On the flip side, there are a few trade-offs that become clear once you start using the cart day after day. The cart's wheels, while sturdy, tend to lock up a bit on uneven gravel. If your patio surface isn't perfectly flat, you might find the cart shifting just enough to make precise burner adjustments a little tricky. I had to level it with a couple of shims under the wheels, which isn't a huge hassle, but does add a small extra step before each cooking session. Another nuance is the fuel consumption. With 60,000 BTUs at your disposal, the propane tank empties faster than you'd expect if you run all 4 burners at high heat for a long period. For a typical family barbecue lasting 2 to 3 hours, you might go through a full 20-pound tank, which translates to a higher ongoing cost. If you're budgeting tightly, factor in that recurring expense. Let's talk about the actual setup process, because that's often where buyers feel the most anxiety. The cart arrives partially assembled. You have to bolt the wheels, attach the propane regulator, and connect the fuel line. The instructions are straightforward, but you'll need a basic set of tools, a wrench and a screwdriver, and about 30 minutes of your time. The real value comes after that. Once it's on the ground, the layout feels intuitive. The burners are spaced evenly, the control knobs are placed where your hand naturally rests, and the lighting switches are right next to each knob. I found myself